Anthony and Joy Kelly are the husband and wife team who own and manage the Red Mountain Company in Hua Hin, Thailand. Having completed all 3 phases of their flagship site, luxury residences, in just 2 years, they are now using their winning formula to complement their prime location by creating 2 exciting new developments, boutique and waterside residences at Red Mountain.
The people that come to Hua Hin are largely people that are a little bit older, so you get a lot of families and people that are more closer to retirement age. Golf's one of the biggest drivers for the tourism market in Hua Hin, and there's a lot of luxury hotels compared with nearby smaller resorts. So you tend to get a little bit older clientele and people that want a nice relaxing time in a beach resort without too much excitement or too much nightlife. I think a lot of the customers that we have do like the fact it's quite quiet out here. If you want to go into the town, it's there, but if you want to stay and enjoy your property, it's a nice setting to be in. I think the original reason people like Hua Hin is the charm of this fishing village and the fact that it's quiet. And they don't want to see the resort become like some of the larger resorts in Thailand where, you know, you get problems with noise and too much people. Over the last 5 years particularly, we're seeing more and more attractions come to the town, and they're not just aimed at the older population. We've got a new water park, I believe, coming to the south edge of the town. There's more and more shopping centres, and because Hua Hin's always had this connection with the royalty, I believe that there's a sustainable growth. They will not allow the town to just grow beyond its sort of ability to control the infrastructure and obviously to make sure that people still enjoy the experience of visiting Hua Hin. I think really when you're building homes, there's a great sense of satisfaction that what you produce stays there, and it stays there for a long, long time. But what we set out to do is try and build a more modern, contemporary type of house. We do route all of the electricity cables underground. We've got a beautiful panoramic view of the hills or mountains nearby, and to protect that we didn't want to see big electric poles. Literally, there's no land left between us and the hill. Now, you cannot build on the hill in this particular province. In some other provinces I believe you can, but here you can't. The only thing you'll see in any hills in Hua Hin are very small either temples or monasteries. So there's no building permits, there's no land title deeds. Because of that, everybody's certainly got a protected view of the hills that they look out of from their bedroom window, for example. Our houses are a little bit more modern, more contemporary. From the initial concept was to bring as much light and as much of the beautiful countryside into the home. So we have very high windows, and we don't use any of the more conservative, older, traditional style of building where there's a lot of wood, particularly in a tropical country, because wood is not the best material when you've got high humidity and obviously a rain season. We also like to preserve the fact that anything outside is a natural stone. We don't use any products that aren't a natural stone outside for obviously the lifespan, but also the fact that they're very beautiful as well. So we take pride in the fact of what we select to put into the homes and the styling and the type of home that we build. By building next door to where we are, we're also protecting our own environment. So we're creating a residential area, because you can't guarantee what would come next to you if you didn't actually protect that yourself. So to make sure that we don't end up with something next to us which is not as desirable, we're building more homes next to the original development. Well, we have now completed 24 homes, so we have a lot of product to show. So people can walk into the existing properties we have, and then they first of all, depending on budget, decide what type of property they like. We then basically from that point forward walk with the customer through the design stage of their home. We have about 7 off-the-shelf plans that people can choose from, but we also offer the service if they want to customize and make a very unique home, we can do that too. So from the initial reserving a land plot, we then get contracts, agreements, talk about the changes, get drawings, and basically over between a 6 to 8 month period, we go from the meeting to producing the final home. From day one, we've always allowed people to customize their home. If it was a resale property, of course, people don't have that option, so they're buying off plan. We do not give any strict criteria that they cannot change anything. But we offer 4 actual floor plans, and from those 4 floor plans, people can then make any customizations from that. So there's 4 plans. I'm sure before we finish, there may be a 5th or a 6th. So no, they won't be identical in any way, they'll all be different. In order to put people at ease when they're buying off-plan, as it's called, we make sure that we don't build too far ahead and they don't pay too far ahead. So to control that, we build to what's recognised on milestones in the construction period. So once a milestone's been reached, that would trigger a payment. We evidence every milestone with photographs. Of course, some people aren't here all of the time to be able to visit their properties, so we send many photographs all the time. We offer a service where their garden and their pool is maintained. We also offer 24-hour security, so it's a gated community, but also optional services as well. So cleaning services, routine maintenance of air conditioning units, pest service, etc., etc. We have 3 wells ranging between 80 and 100 metres down. We then collect all that water into a large reservoir tank and we filter the water, because water coming from the ground, of course, can be very hard. So to make sure it's softened to the point where it can be used, we have our own water treatment plant to take care of that. So that's in place today. In the future, where we are located, there will eventually be a good government supply of water. And as soon as that's switched on, we will switch to that. But in the meantime, we supply our own water, and we've had no problems so far. When you buy a pool villa in Thailand, you cannot actually own the land, but you can own the house. Obviously, you cannot separate the two, of course, but your name is actually on the papers to own the property, so you own the structure. Red Mountain was started by myself and my wife Joy, who's Thai, so she's the landowner. The lease of the land is covered by a 30-year lease, which is registered at the Land Office. In the leases that we provide, we also make sure there's a provision that that lease can be renewed, and there's penalties even in the fact that the landowner is no longer alive, there's succession rights to make sure that's in place. The fact that we have built a maintenance office on site, we haven't built houses and then moved on to our next development and forgotten about the initial people that bought here. We're going to be here long into the future, so there'll be follow-up service long into the future to make it easier for people that aren't here all the time, but even the people that are here all the time, they can get things done hopefully in a more timely manner. I think other developments don't necessarily have that close connection with the country. The fact that I married with a Thai, I have 3 children, there is more of a family feel, I think, to our developments, because people probably can look at us and think, well, they're here, they're not going anywhere. You know, this is my home now, so I think that maybe does help put people at ease.